This is where my lack of pre-planning comes in. I had mentioned in a previous video that when I go to install my shore power outlet from NOCO, that I should have done this earlier before I started building out the interior. The problem I'm running into is I only have a certain amount of room on the inside to drill that hole, and I don't need it coming out right here where it's curved. You can see that there's a curve outward on the body panel, and I really don't want it to come out like right here in this area. I want it to lay on a flat piece of the metal so that I can put a bead of silicone behind it and then fasten it to the side. Okay, this is what I have to work with. I'm underneath the bed right now, and the wood to the left is my wardrobe cabinet, and the 2x4 to the right is actually one of the supports resting on the wheel well that supports the bed frame. The foil tape that you see is actually covering the rib of the van, and to the left of that is the plywood that I had placed on the walls before I started adding on the cedar planking above the bed. So I have a very, very narrow opening right there, and I need to be up above that wave in the body panel outside. I just unboxed the NOCO power outlet, and you can see that essentially it's like an electrical extension cord, and you have two outlets. Those are going to come in through the 2-inch hole that I have to drill into the van, and this is the part that's going to be outside, and that's how you're going to see outside. And to say I'm nervous is an understatement, because I have taken measurements and taken measurements and taken measurements, because I only have one opportunity to drill this hole, and I don't need it in the wrong location. As I explained before, I need it to come out in an area of that sidewall that is flat. There you can see I've drilled my initial hole. Now I'm through the plywood that I mounted on the framing of the wall, and that's the rigid insulation right there that I'm now going to cut away. This is why it's so important to pre-plan, because fortunately I didn't drill through to the outside of my van. The problem that I have is just inside that hole there's the flange to the rib that's immediately to the right, and I don't want to take a chance on drilling through any structural member of the van. It probably wouldn't hurt it, but it's not necessary for me to just drill a hole and cut part of that off. The hole saws that I have are only designed to cut through either sheetrock or wood, so I ordered up a set of 2 carbide hole saws. I only needed one, but it came as a set of 2, and they came in today. So now it's time to drill the hole through the side of my van so I can install this NOCO dual AC outlet. Well, the new hole saw that I ordered up worked like a charm. It drilled right through the wood and the metal with no problem, and now it's time to install my NOCO dual AC outlets. Well, as you can see, the hole cut through very nicely. I took a round fine file and I cleaned up the edges both on the outside and the inside, so everything's nice and smooth. And now I'm going to take some of the Rust-Oleum rust reformer and I'm going to hit some of the bare metal all the way around from the inside, and then I'm going to use a bead of 100% silicone to seal up everything to keep it watertight. The NOCO unit has a rubber gasket, and I'm going to place a bead of silicone along the back side of that, and then they supply you with self-tapping screws, and this is what I'm going to use to apply a bead of RTV silicone. This is an adhesive sealant that's going to go behind that rubber gasket, and that will go between the gasket and the metal of my van. I applied a bead of the RTV silicone between the outside flange of the NOCO and the rubber gasket, put the gasket in place, and now I've coated the back side of the gasket with the same silicone. So there's a completed install. I'm going to clean up the edge a little bit once this fully cures, and as you can see, you just plug an extension cord in there, and that will feed into not only my battery charger for my solar system, but also for my electrical outlet, which powers my TV and my microwave and stuff like that. Another job completed.